All right, Angela. We were expecting to see you guys fight in October now and move it up 2 months. How exactly did this come about? She said that the UFC approached her. Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't call her. The UFC hit me up on Tuesday and they asked if I wanted to fight in San Diego, and I was like, yeah, of course. But they wanted to fight at 125, and that was the only stipulation for me. I definitely wanted it to be at least close to 115, so we settled on a catch weight at 120. But I was stoked to get the chance to fight in San Diego because I've always wanted to fight in hometown, and this is going to be my first time.
When she was in here, she said she probably could have made 115, but someone asked her if it took for 120. She said, sure. Could you have made 115 if they had asked you?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So it's good that she said that too. I was hoping that she was on the smaller side. I remember she fought at 125 and weighed in a little under, so I was happy that she was willing to go down a little bit.
And in terms of her skill set, she's one of these fighters like yourself that she wants to fight like every few weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
she said the time between her last fight and now was a long time, and it's because the UFC didn't ask her. So, what do you make of her as an opponent and what she brings to the table?
I think she's a gamer. She's a gamer just like me. She's not hung up on her record, and she's not intimidated by anyone, and that's really cool. Like that's how I am. That's how I've been since I got into the UFC. Every time I fight a big name, I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm gonna knock her out, and then they're gonna ask me to fight for the title yet. And unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet. But that's the mindset going into each fight, and I feel like she has a similar mindset.
How much did you know about her before being paired up with her? Because I believe Jessica beat her in her
Yeah.
UFC debut, right? So you probably helped her with the preparation for that. So how much did you know about her?
I watched a couple of her fights outside of the LF or outside of the UFC before she fought Jess. So we knew she was gonna be tough. We knew she was gonna be a hard fight, and we knew she liked to pick people up and put them down. So that's really what I knew about her before she fought Jess. And then working ESPN, I was able to not commentate, but do like the desk work when she would fight a couple, I think 2 times at least. So I knew a little bit about her, and just she impressed me. I think it's the mindset more than anything. The fact that she's so willing to get in there. There's so many girls you got to pull teeth to get them to show up to fight week, or get them to sign a contract, and she's just happy to be there. So I always respect a fighter like that because they're so rare.
And when she was in here, last question for me, she seems pretty confident that given the large amount of Hispanic fans here, that she's going to get cheered, even though you're fighting in San Diego. So what do you make of that? And are you expecting to be cheered, obviously, against her?
Man, I don't know. I keep it pretty quiet in San Diego. I'm not running around like throwing parties or whatever. So we'll see. It's a big Mexican town. Like all my training partners or half of them are Mexican. So so we'll see. We'll see if that makes a difference with the pop when she comes out. But man, like I've lived here for 7 years and I love it here. And if anything, she can enjoy the crowd pop. But I'm gonna enjoy being in San Diego for the rest of my life and not fucking Canada. Fuck that.
How cool is it to be on the same card with your buddy Dominic Cruz?
It's pretty cool. I don't often get to fight on the same card as people that I've like shared a workout room with. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm happy that I have enough space where I can decompress and actually enjoy the fights as opposed to just going on and then missing everything. Sometimes when your teammate or when a friend is too close to you on the fight card, then you miss it. You just kind of have to go back and check it out. So it's gonna be good.
And then, obviously, fighting here, I have to imagine the second they moved you to San Diego, everyone and their mom asked you for tickets. You're very nice, so what is your go-to way of letting them down easy that they're not getting to the show for free?
Just I already gave him to someone. Like, even if I didn't, no, I already promised somebody, and they asked me a long time ago. So I'm sorry.
Now, in terms of the, fighters always talk about it like it's nice and it's epic, but it's a added level of stress. Everyone kind of wants to be part of the week, so to speak. Have you been able to manage that? Are you able to go home, or do you have everyone like, hey, Angela, I want to see you before you get out there? How do you handle all that?
It hasn't been too bad. I think if I were to fight in like DC or New York, maybe that would be more of an issue. But everyone that I know out here already had tickets. And most of those guys, like, I moved out here to further my MMA career. So most of my friends are within that circle that understand what it's like to compete. They understand like how stressful it is. So everyone's been able to give me my space.
Thank you.
Hey, Andrew, right here. What do you expect from the fight with Loopy? You guys are both on a string of decisions. Should we expect a technical matchup between the two of you, or are you ready to throw down in front of your
We're
hometown?
throwing down, man. We're throwing down. I know she's aggressive, and she seems to have one pace. She just goes. And like when I fight people like that, that's when I get in the zone. That's when I get into that flow state. When people lull too much, when they try to fake me out like they're not going to do anything, and then they do something real fast, then it kind of takes me off of my game. So I think we're going to be throwing down the whole fight.
And the last thing I want to ask, you mentioned earlier not getting hung up on records. So, being on a 3-fight losing streak right now, I'm just curious, what is your main purpose for fighting at this stage of your career?
I don't know, man. Like it's 3-fight lose streak, but it's the first time in my career that's happened, and it's also there's a lot of asterisks by some of those losses that I've had recently. Like I still see myself as 4-2 right now, in my last 6 fights, and I think, if anything, getting definitive wins proves my case. So that's really what I'm trying to do, is prove my case, get more definitive wins, get finishes, and we'll see what happens after that. I'm not like gonna sit here and call out the champ, but I'm definitely not losing faith in my abilities and losing faith in the fact that I know more than most of the girls on the roster right now when it comes to skill. I have more experience than most of them, so that's got to count for something. And I'm looking up to the old dudes that have done it before me. I still have aspirations to be the best. It's just taking each thing one fight at a time.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
And just one, we've seen fighters that have had good luck when they fight where they live and where they have their home crowd, and others that maybe like a Derek Lewis that's like, I don't want to fight in Houston. How do you temper that with the excitement to want to go in there and perform for around your friends and family, and how do you stay calm and not let the moment overtake you?
This is my first time fighting in front of home crowd, so I'll let you know afterwards how I handle that. But my fight career started in New York, and I was fighting Muay Thai, and it was always in front of my friends, my teammates. Everyone was there rooting for me when I would fight in New York. And I don't know. I think coming up that way, it didn't bother me. So I feel like that's going to be the same in San Diego. I don't think it's going to bother me. I think it's going to, if anything, feel more at home. I perform better when people are watching. I run faster when some guy down the street is watching me run. I think it boosts me as opposed to hinders me.
Kind of going off what you said, where you have a lot more experience than a lot of these women. You actually have the most fights in UFC strawweight history with 20. So
Hey.
I think you debuted. You were 1-0, 2-0 at that point, right? So you grew as a fighter here in the UFC. So were you aware of that record, and how proud of you of that record?
I think I wasn't sure if it was 20 or 21. But I guess it'll be 21 on Saturday. I'm really proud of that. And people will always look at my losses and be like, why is she still here? But they forget that I came in with one fight. I got kicked out. I came back, fought more, continued to fight the best of the best. So it's deceptive, my record is, as opposed when you look at that and compare it to the fighter that I am. I'm very proud of what I've done. I think a fighter like Loopy is on her way to doing something like that too, just being ready to go, always taking the biggest challenges, and it's something that a lot of people are scared of doing. And so I hold a lot of pride in just looking competition in the eye and saying I don't give a fuck, like, let's go, let's fight. This is what we're here to do. We're here to throw down. Cool. Okay. Thanks, guys.